Devils going big fish hunting, according to Pierre LeBrun. Few things would have to fall into place to be able to do things like this, but hour by hour, this gets a little bit more interesting. Welcome into Devils Digest. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for all new things Devils. New Jersey, at least poking around the Mikko Rantanen, what's going on in Carolina. Look, we all know how we got here. Carolina trades Martin Necas, brings in Mikko Rantanen. Would be a similar situation. This would be another player you probably don't re-sign during the season. But when you look at what you'd bring over coming playoff time, Mikko Rantanen adds something that not a single other Devil on this team can add. None. Multiple 100-point seasons. Multiple seasons over point per game player. He's over a point per game player in the playoffs. And he has a nice ring to it. Look, when you have the chance to add a superstar, top 10 player, Stanley Cup champion, when you get that opportunity, that chance, because it doesn't happen often, you got to go get it. Now, I know there's just sniffing around right now. They're kind of just seeing, hey, Carolina, what are you thinking about Mikko Rantanen? Carolina feels like they're in a little bit of a panic mode right now. I don't even know if they can process their thoughts right now. I thought when the trade was made, Carolina kind of came to terms with, okay, we're going to trade for Mikko Rantanen. We're going to be all in. And if he doesn't re-sign, we're okay with that. Clearly not the case. Mikko Rantanen is a top 10 superstar, future Hall of Fame player in this league. They don't come by often in trades. When their contracts are up, they want to get paid. There was a good chance Mikko Rantanen was going to go to free agency. And he still would. It still seems like it. Even if the Devils trade for him, it still seems like he's going to go to free agency. But if you can get multiple 100-point player, Stanley Cup champion, over point per game in the playoffs on your team, you do what you can to get that player. You talk about first-round pick, top prospects. This is a player that I'd give up Simone Nemec for without re-signing. Because here you kill two birds with one stone. You take Mikko Rantanen off Carolina. Carolina doesn't have that player anymore. They don't have Mikko Rantanen or Martin Necas. You bring them to the Devils. Now it's Carolina, New Jersey, round one. Well, we just took their best player. He plays for us now. Seems pretty good. Then you set up a second-round series with Washington and whoever wins that Washington series. Offensively, you'll be better than either of those teams. Right now, I still feel like you are, but it's questionable. With Mikko Rantanen, there's no question. At some point, opinions almost turn into, facts. When you can add a 100-point player, top two centers in that division, Jesper, Bratt, yeah, you're going to be pretty much fighting top three for the best offensive team in the NHL. I mean, we saw how it worked out in Colorado. Sometimes other players weren't going. They didn't need to add as much offensively. They didn't need as much goal scoring. They just need more of a team structure because they have players like Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon. And a Mikko Rantanen and Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier type feel would give that same thing. If you can go get Mikko Rantanen, you roll out the bank. You could win the Stanley Cup this year. I think all of a sudden you might even go to favorites to win the Stanley Cup. You can bring in a 100-point player to play with a player who should have hit 100 2 years ago and one of the best defensive centers in the NHL. Another one of the most skilled, underrated players in Jesper Bratt. Timo Meier is even having a great season. You can throw that all at a team in a 7-game series. I like your chances to win 4 of them. I actually really like your chances to win 16 of the next. I should have thrown the number before I got on here and started talking. but you know what I mean. Looking at where it would fit with New Jersey, bring it up on the big screen. Why not? You look at this roster right now. You place Mikko Rantanen on the right side. Maybe you move Jesper Bratt over. Timo Meier playing on his right side. That's good news, calling for the Devils. You put Mikko Rantanen with this group. Now you have a ton of options. Tomas Tatar drops down. Ondrej Palat drops down. There's so many different combinations you could go with this group. And when you have a chance to get a top 10 player in the NHL, superstar, over a point per game in the playoffs, you do it, you kind of do it. You give up the Nemec. You give up the first-round pick. You give up Seamus Casey. Whatever they want, because you're in your own division, whatever they want that isn't Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt. Not trying to, I say whatever they want, like realistic assets. Assets. Not players that are already playing on your team. Assets. You give up what they want. Because when you take away Mikko Rantanen from Carolina, Carolina is not an issue anymore. Carolina all of a sudden is not an issue for you. And that's pretty much more than likely than not going to be your round one matchup, would be Carolina. They've just become not so much of an issue. When you look at, the lineup they have right now, it's pretty balanced between the two teams. They're similar in terms of impact, what they can throw at you. It's similar. When you take off Mikko Rantanen, or off them, and put them on your team, I mean, how many times can teams do that at the deadline? It doesn't usually happen, because trades like this that started this whole entire thing where he's in trade talks, or teams are poking around it, don't usually happen, because trades that we saw a month and a half ago, that was probably the biggest trade we've seen in over the past decade. A player like Mikko Rantanen being traded. Doesn't happen very often. Now, like I said earlier in the video, and we would get into it, few things need to happen. Number one, Carolina doesn't feel comfortable enough to win the Stanley Cup this season. They trade Mikko Rantanen. Number two, you got to make the cap work. Number three, what is going on with Jack Hughes? As of right now, we don't know. There was reports coming out that he's on his way to Colorado to get checked out by the same surgeon he had surgery from last year. Obviously, it makes it easier to get Rantanen if he goes on LTIR, which is a possibility. We don't know much about the Jack Hughes situation. He could be back tomorrow. He could be back for the playoffs. He could be back next October. Okay, we don't know enough with what's going on with Jack Hughes. And that impacts the situation a lot. Because obviously, if you're going to get Mikko Rantanen, you got to find a way to clear up some cap. And obviously, that's a GM's job. He's got to find a way to clear up some cap to bring in Mikko Rantanen. I mean, he just helped someone today in Boston and Edmonton clear cap so they can make a Trent Frederic trade work. If teams are willing to, clear cap to make a Trent Frederic trade work, I'm sure Tom Fitzgerald is willing to clear cap to make a Mikko Rantanen trade work. If Jack Hughes isn't in the lineup, and this is obviously, we're just hypothetical because we don't know what's going to happen. If he isn't going to come back this year, and Rantanen obviously doesn't have an extension, and he's not going to sign one until he kind of fields offers during the offseason, if he's not going to do that, then probably Rantanen comes off the table. But if Jack Hughes is going to, even if he's going to miss until round one of the playoffs, or he's not 100% healthy, yeah, I'm throwing everything at Mikko Rantanen. I'm throwing everything. Nemec, first-round pick, Seamus Casey. What else do you want, Carolina? There's too many things that good can come out of this. You get a top player. You take a top player off of another team. You look a lot better against Washington. You look a lot better against anyone in the Atlantic. not going to get into the Stanley Cup final. Point is, you'd be one of the best teams in the league. No team could really put up with that type of offensive firepower. So, if you're looking at this team and Hughes is going to come back and the Devils are, as we saw, at least, saying, Carolina, let us know what you're thinking. Yeah, Mikko Rantanen makes more than enough sense for this team. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you would put in a trade package for Mikko Rantanen. And, let me know if you guys want him, because I think it sounds really cool. All right, I'll see you guys.